of our weekday program. We're here every weekday, Monday through Friday, at 11 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And our focus is on internet-based marketing of your direct sales, network marketing, information product, and affiliate marketing business models. As you know, I teach a funnel structure and how to set up a business that produces for you reoccurring automated multiple streams of income. And we focus on topics here on this program that are really designed to help you create an effective business and to be able to market your business in a very effective way. And one of the things that you'll notice that I spend a lot of time talking about is mindset. I think it's one of the most critical aspects of you being able to create for yourself a successful business. And so we do spend a lot of time on mindset. And what I'm going to start today is a brand new series of a total of 11 lessons. And there's going to be one deviation from this on Friday. On Friday, we've got a very special program coming up. We've got Rob Hanley, who is an internet entrepreneur, very highly respected, creator of a number of different businesses in the space of internet-based marketing. And he's going to be with us to talk a little bit about himself, his background, and what he sees in terms of where we're heading in terms of internet-based marketing. We'll talk a lot about mindset with Rob as well, because I know that he is a kindred spirit in his interest in understanding of personal development and the importance of that in creating your business success. So that'll be on Friday. So today, tomorrow, and then all through next week, we're going to go through a series of these lessons. There'll be a total of 11. And what these lessons are on is the 11 laws of prosperity. And the first one today we're going to be talking about is the law of thinking. And there's some very critical concepts I want to share with you today on that. The source material for this series of lessons is a book that I want to highly recommend that you read if you haven't already done so. And that is a book called Working with the Law. And the author of that book, his name is Raymond Hollywell. And what I'm going to do shortly after this broadcast is completed, if you go to my blog at www.askjamesholmes.com, I'll have a show summary. And in that show summary, I'll provide you with a link to allow you to pick up a copy of this book in a ebook format. It's a little 73-page book, but it's very powerful in terms of really laying out this understanding of the laws of prosperity. And it's something that would be great for you to have to kind of follow along with as we go through this next 11 episodes in the series that we're going to be conducting on working with the law. I want to make sure that you're aware that if there's anything that you need in terms of follow-up on any resource that I mentioned on this podcast, if there is a resource that I talk about or a business model I talk about, if there's anything that you're interested in as follow-up, the best way for you to connect with me personally is through my primary blog. And that blog address is at www.askjamesholmes.com. Now, another thing on there that I want to make you aware of is if you look on the right-hand column on that blog page, you're going to find a section there that says something to the effect to schedule a complimentary consultation with me privately. And what that's about is that I will do a 30-minute consultation with you to talk about anything at all related to your business. So if you're a present internet marketer and there's a particular challenge that you're facing, or if you're just looking at getting into internet marketing and you've just got questions on kind of some best ways to go about structuring your business, or resources that you may want to make sure that you tap into, really anything at all related to your business, what you do is just click on the button that says Book Now. That'll take you to a web-based access to my calendar, and any open time slot that you see on that calendar, you simply just fill in your name and then your phone number, and then I'll call you at the appointed time, and we'll spend 30 minutes together, high-value time, talking specifically about you and your business. So that's just a resource that's available to you there. One more quick thing I want to mention to you is I am, during the month of August, doing a literal giveaway of a $1,000 package of digital products. And what these are is everything from special reports and ebooks to a couple of software programs. There's audio MP3 files that are training on internet marketing, as well as a couple of videos. And so if you want to basically claim that package, there's nothing you have to do to qualify for it. Everyone who asks for it is going to get it. And just simply go back to my blog, and they'll see an opt-in form where you put in your name and email address. You'll immediately get a confirmation letting you know that you're on the list, and then you'll start receiving this this content. Now, it is the what we're the 11th of the month, so there has been a couple things that have been given away already, and that's okay. You won't miss out on that, because what I'll also give you is a password to the to my private vault, which is a protected part of my blog. And from my private vault, you'll be able to download anything that you've missed along the way. I'll leave that access open through to the end of the month, and so you can go through and literally anything that I'm including in that package that you want, you just go in there, put in the password, and you can download whatever it is that you'd like to obtain, including all the information, which I would do if I were you. So let's get on with the content of our subject today, which is in working with the law. It is lesson number 1, which is the law of thinking. Now, most people on this call probably, if you haven't actually seen or read the book The Secret or saw the movie The Secret, you probably have heard about it. And there's kind of good and bad. The good thing about that film being produced or that book being widely distributed is that it really raised the consciousness amongst a broad number of people about the basic law of attraction and the law of intention. The bad side of it is that I think that, and it's not the fault of the filmmaker or the producer of that book, is that it wasn't able to go deep enough because there just wasn't enough time. I mean, it very much was an introduction, I think, to these concepts. And although there have been a lot of debate, and I've even had a couple of conversations with friends of mine about whether or not this whole subject of the law of attraction is in some way, an anti, Christian or anti-religious view, which I'll say to you, and I'm very open about this, that my background is Christian, and I'm a strong Christian, and I don't see anything that's incongruent in the study of the law of attraction or any of the laws of prosperity. In fact, many of them have biblical foundation, and you'll discover that as we go through this series of lessons. So what I'm going to do is walk you through 5 key components to the law of thinking, and then I'm going to give you 4 specific actions that you can take to apply that to your business today. And the intent is for you to be able to have an immediate impact on your business based on executing on these 11 lessons. And so, you've heard it said most likely in the book of Proverbs that as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. And that really is kind of a thread that forms the foundation of the whole idea of the law of thinking. And so the first concept is that thoughts are things. And so the idea is that if you think back through history, and let's use the example of the Wright brothers, who invented the first successful flight or craft that was able to take flight, that aircraft began with an idea, a thought. That, if you think about Thomas Edison and the creation of the light bulb, that he had a thought or a theory. And that thought, when put into action, led him down a path of discovery and eventually to the invention of the light bulb. And it's no different in any of our lives or in any of our businesses, that everything begins with a thought. So if you think about what it is that you're seeking to create in your business, the idea is to get back to the basic idea of really determining what it is you want and being very clear on that. And so that can be everything from, what you want your results to be financially, for instance. So let's just say that you've got a certain income goal. And if you're executing successfully on the funnel that we teach here, you may look through your multiple income streams, and 5 or 6 or 7 or however many there are that are established within inside of your funnel, and maybe you're deciding for each income stream specifically what your monthly income goal is per income stream, and having that as a firm thought. Maybe if your primary motivating idea behind getting involved in your business is you want to create time freedom. Well, then quantifying that for yourself is exactly what that means. So how much time are you talking about? Is it, the ability to work 30 hours a week? Is it the ability to work 10 hours a week? Is it the ability to take a certain amount of time away for vacation and travel per year? What is the actual thought behind what it is you're wanting to do in terms of what you're wanting to create? And be very, very specific about that. It might be in your business that what is the goal is a certain number of clients or a certain number of sales per month or a certain volume created per month in sales. And so the same thing applies, that you want to be really put thinking behind it and be very purposeful in putting down the objectives that you want to set for yourself. What is it that you're looking to accomplish, and being very clear on that and having that down in writing. The second principle that's very important to understand about your thought process is that if you look at your current results, you look at the outcomes you have right now in your business or in your life, in every and all aspect, that your present outcomes are the direct result of your current most dominant thoughts. So, we're in a time right now in our economy and in the world environment, really. It's not just, in North America. It really is reaching, most countries across the world, that we're in a period of difficult economic times. And so if your thoughts day to day are focused on scarcity or lack, if your focus is on what you don't have or how difficult things are, or anything else that's related to the outside environment that isn't serving your purpose, then the idea is that you want to turn your thoughts away from those things that aren't serving you and focus on what you do want to create. Because I can assure you that as many people that are in our economy right now that are really suffering, and I'm not taking any of that away from that as being very real. There are people that are having record success in their businesses. In my own case, so far this year, my business is exceeding the expectations I would have for my business at the beginning of the year, and it has nothing to do with the outside economy. And part of that is that I'm just not interested in plugging into the outside economy. I know that it affects me. I mean, you can't be unrealistic that the price of gas and the cost of things, or how people are doing who are maybe interested in getting involved in your business but just can't, how those things really impact you and have an effect on you. I'm not saying that you want to have a kind of a Pollyanna attitude. But what I am saying is that you can spend your time really focused on the lack, focus on the scarcity, and focus on the difficulty, and never create the opportunity for yourself to attract the people that are out there that are in a position where they're able to do things. And so part of what you do is want to be very aware of what your current most dominant thoughts are day to day. Are you thinking in a very positive way about what it is you're setting out to do in your business? Are you looking at your goals that you've set for yourself, the objectives you set for yourself in your business, and having an optimistic view of your being able to bring those things to pass in the moment, and that they're going to happen right now, not something you're putting off until things get back to normal, if that's what you're looking for. I challenged the thought 3 or 4 weeks ago on one of our episodes, and the challenge thought was, what if the old normal, so what we maybe were used to going back before the last 2 or 3 years, what if that idea of normal doesn't exist anymore? What if there is no normal to return to? What if really, we've gone through another phase in our development, in our economy, and as a society, where those things have kind of passed on and we're moving on to something that's going to become the new normal? I would suggest that it would be more productive to be focused on how we find our place in the new normal, as opposed to maybe just kind of biding our time waiting to see if things get back to the old normal. And so your thoughts are very powerful, and what you're thinking about today and the thoughts you're bringing to your business have everything to do with the results you're getting today and what's going to happen tomorrow and next week and next month and throughout the next period of time. So you want to really be clear on that. The other thing to really hold close to you, and this is the principle number 3. So the first one is thoughts are things. The second one is the things that are most presently thought about are going to predict your current results. And the third concept is what you focus on expands. And this can be positive or negative. So if you look at your situation in total in your business, And let's say that you have a situation where, let's say traffic is an issue. You've got a great blog page set up or a great website set up, and really what you're missing is the traffic component, driving traffic to your website. What you want to do is turn your attention towards, in a positive way, focusing on the ways that traffic can be created, and turn away from the idea that you're going to focus on the fact that you do not have traffic in your business. Because if you spend your time thinking about the lack of traffic in this example, then really what you're going to do is not spend time thinking on the ways that you can gain traffic, and what you're going to attract is essentially more lack of traffic. If you spend your time thinking about your ideal client, for instance, so if you have a product, or if you're building let's say a team in a network marketing business, or you've got a big ticket direct sales program or an affiliate program, it really doesn't matter what business model you're working on. But if you can hold in your mind the thought and be very clear and specific on that ideal client, you have to know, being an internet marketer, that there is an abundance of clients to purchase your products and services. There is no lack of people that are interested in what you have to offer. It's just a matter of you attracting your share of those individuals that are looking for what you're looking for. So the idea of the thought that what you focus on expands is you want to put your thoughts on the things that are serving your business. So put thoughts on the sites you're creating being successful and being attractive sites that are going to draw people in that are potential buyers of the products and services that you are offering in your business. You want to be focused and have expansive thoughts on the specific type of person that's going to be drawn to the product or service you're offering on your website or in your business. If you're in a recruiting mode in a network marketing business, for instance, think about the type of person that can be benefited from the services and products that your company offers, or the compensation plan that your company offers, and hold a thought on that person or types of people to help you to attract those people to your business. So number 3 is what you focus on expands. Number 4 is the key to changing your thoughts or your results is to focus on what you want, not on what you do not want. And this is one of the things that I think in my own journey in understanding these principles and being able to put these principles into action in my own business and life, is that I really had to fight to not focus my thoughts on what I did not want, because it's the thing that's most evident. The evidence of your present most dominant thoughts are your current results. And so if your thoughts are incongruent with what your desires are, then that is what you have in front of you. And so it's easy, or at least it was easy for me, to go through the process of focusing on the thing that I did not want. And in thinking of the things that I did not want, I was actually giving power to those things. And so by virtue of the law of thinking, the only thing I could do was attract more of what I didn't want, because that was what I was focused on. You see how that works? And once I really understood this, through studying these concepts of working with the law, I began to understand how wrong my thinking was. And what I really needed to be doing was thinking about what I wanted to create and attract into my business and into my life, and literally fighting to shut off thoughts of what I didn't want. And when I really began to take control of this process, I'm telling you, things started to really happen. I began to have less of the results that I didn't want. And then suddenly the people, the opportunities, and the resources I needed to put into action, the things that I wanted, began to appear. Partly because I became focused on those and I recognized them when they were in front of me. Some of these individuals were there all along, but I just couldn't see it because I was so focused on the things I didn't want. And so, this is probably one of the most important lessons of this entire discussion today, is turning your attention away from what you don't want and being very clear on doing that and focusing on what you do want. Now, of course, part of being able to do that goes back to what I said a little bit earlier, which is knowing what you want and putting that down in writing, and putting it in writing in a way that you can remind yourself, and I'm going to give you some actions on how to do that here in just a little bit, but so that you can remind yourself on a daily basis what it is you're working towards. And so that you're day-to-day work isn't just random. You know, you don't want to come to your computer, turn it on, and then just have a random day of letting events unfold without you having some control and purpose in what you're doing day to day. So that's number 4, changing your thoughts and focusing on what you want versus what you don't want. It's also really important as part of that that you hold the feeling of what you want at an emotional level. Now, what do I mean by that? It's not enough just to think on an intellectual level about what it is that you want. You really have to work to find the place where, from an emotional standpoint, you support that thinking with the emotion, because the emotion is what's going to take you through, carry you through. You know, having an intellectual thought about something, it's almost like it would be nice to have. You know, maybe if your thought is, it just would be nice to have this as part of my life, is different than doing the work required to bring yourself to a place where you understand why it is you want that. And, you know, I said to you on a prior show that typically I find that decisions that people make when they decide to come into a position of entrepreneurship, that usually that the end goal for them is either going to be financial or it's going to be related to time freedom. And if you dig deeper into, let's just use those two, there are probably a lot of reasons why you're here today and why you're, you know, pursuing development of a business. But I think I'm pretty safe to say that for most people, 2 of the top reasons would be financial and something tied to finances, and or time freedom. And so that being the case, the way that you make this emotional connection is just to recognize it isn't just about the dollar amount, but what is it about that dollar amount that's going to impact your life and create a change. So maybe it's that you're concerned about your long-term retirement, and then having those financial resources are going to solve for you what you may see as a big impending concern. So there's an emotional tie to that. You can anchor yourself to that. Or maybe you're in a position where, and I'll give you an example of someone that's in my personal network marketing business with me. Someone that I recruited into my business that's a single mother. And her big reason why was that as a single mom, she had 2 teenage children that she saw the need in the next 3 to 5 years to provide for them for their college education, which was very important for her. And at the moment, she didn't have a plan. So by really recognizing that her goal was, yes, it was financial, but it wasn't just about creating the money. It was about getting your children in a position to be able to have an education beyond high school, that she wanted to fund a college education. So the reason that's important is that she was able to anchor her desire to create a successful business on that objective. So that from that point forward, there was nobody that could tell her no in terms of a recruiting opportunity or a setback that we all have in our businesses. It's a series of peaks and valleys, as you guys know. And so if she was in a valley moment in her business, having the strength or the anchor of knowing that she's doing it for her children's education, that setback would not be enough to cause her to quit. And that's the key, is that it's a strong enough reason emotionally why that it will not allow you to quit, because it's stronger. Your desire to have that at an emotional level, not just a thinking level, but at an emotional level, is great enough that will keep you from giving up. It'll allow you to continue going forward. So as an example, that's an emotional connection. Maybe you have a parent that's aging, and one of your desires is to be able to provide long-term care for your parents. And so again, that's a very strong emotional reason why. Yes, the money is what's going to allow you to create the opportunity to take care of them, but really the emotional reason is that you want to care for your parent. And so if that makes sense to you guys, you see what I'm talking about in terms of making it an emotional decision. And so if you can put emotion behind your thought, you're going to be much more likely to be successful in staying true to the objective you set for yourself, or the goal that you set for yourself. The other thing you want to do is you really want to make sure that you fight to stay positive. If there are people in your life that are just negative, and I have people like this that are in my life, they tend to see the glass as always being half empty. They definitely are buying into the popular media view of what's going on in the world. And so in other words, if you turn on the 5 o'clock news in any city across America, I am certain the first 10 to 15 minutes is all negative. So what you want to do is turn away from that. Don't allow that to be the predominant thing that you're feeding your mind. And so fight for your focus. Fight for being able to have the clarity to be able to be positive. And whether it's individual people or circumstances that you need to push out, and I'm not saying eliminate people from your life, but just don't let them, garner the majority of your thought process. And then the final thing, the fifth thing, is to actually ask. And when I say ask, yeah, I'm talking about, really dealing with your faith probably, because the idea of asking, I think, is definitely believing that there is something greater than yourself. And so in my term of thinking, and I'm not here to, I guess, spread my personal faith views, but what I'm saying for me, when I say ask, it's kind of prayerfully asking for a thing that I want to have happen. And I know that if my reason for it is based on sound principles of things that are greater than myself and adding value to other people, then I have a belief that in my asking that I'm going to be able to bring that to pass. And I know in my business there are definitely reasons why I want to do my business for myself and my family. I know there are things that are for me. I recognize that, and I accept that, and I admit that. But it is also true that I seek to add value to other people, so that if I have success in my business, by virtue of the way my business is set up, that other people should also succeed at the same time. I know that if I'm committing a half hour a day, every day, 5 days a week to this podcast, that yes, it's going to help me in developing and growing my business. But at the same time, if my message is something that's meaningful and has value to it, that those who listen to this show hopefully are also going to be able to grow from it and also be able to create the successful business that they're seeking to do. So I think in terms of asking, if it's asking with the right intent behind it, I believe that it can come to pass as long as you focus on it and put these other thoughts into action. This is really important about asking. You want to ask with the expectation and the belief and the faith that it's going to be granted to you. Because if you sit down and set up a list of objectives or list of goals for your business, and you put these things down and you sit down and you ask for these things to come to pass, but you don't really believe that they're going to come to pass, then you're wasting your mental energy and your emotional energy. You really have to come to a place of expectation to when you sit down and set these objectives out, that you have an expectation, just as sure as if I were to ask you for anything, and you said yes to me, that I would have the belief that you're going to go follow through and do it. It's the same level of expectation you should have in putting out there what it is that you want to create and attract into your business. So those are the 5 things. Let me just do a quick summary as we get to the end of our program. So the first thing is that thoughts are things. The second is that your present outcome or results are in direct correlation to your current most dominant thoughts. So you want to make sure that those current dominant thoughts support what it is you're seeking to create. Number 3 is that what you focus on expands. Number 4 is that the key to changing your thoughts or results is to focus on what you want, not on what you do not want. Number 5 is to make sure that you ask. So now let me give you just the 4 actions that you want to take today to begin making the change in your business. The first one is you want to create a series of objectives for what you want in your business. And I'm saying written objectives. Put these things down on paper. You want to write them down and put them in a place of prominence. That's number 2. Number 3, I would urge you to consider creating a vision board and putting that vision board somewhere that's prominent in your office or your workspace, so that every day you're reminded with a visual message of what it is you're seeking to accomplish. And then number 4 is you want to make sure you're fighting for your focus. Do whatever it takes to make sure that you are fighting for what it is that you're focusing on. And that is the strategy and the completion of this first law, the law of thinking. We'll be back again tomorrow with another lesson. Again, it's a series of 11 lessons. I want to remind you one more time that on Friday, we've got Rob Hanley, the internet entrepreneur, going to be with us on Friday's show for a very special hour. And so I want to encourage you to be with us for that as well. So with that being said, as always, I want to wish for you much success today, that you go out and make it the day that's ideal for building your goals and your dreams and making your business what you want it to be, and that you have a very blessed day. Thank you for being with me today. I really appreciate it. Have a great day.